Welcome everybody in here to Fifth Third Arena for a noon basketball matchup between the Cincinnati Bearcats and the TCU Horned Frogs here on Bearcat Sports Radio. My name is Justin Dietrich. Joined alongside me is Jack Ritchie. And the Bearcats come back to Fifth Third after a disappointing loss in Morgantown, West Virginia. They dropped that one 59-62. Probably a little closer than it should have been, Jack. Some, theatrics at the end of the game made that one a three-point game.
Yeah, the Bearcats coming off of their three straight wins, in the month of February in the first week of the month, but now dropping at Iowa State and at West Virginia 2 in a row is kind of just making the path for the Bearcats' tourney hopes just even more difficult than it is. And now they go against a TCU team with a similar record as them, both teams who have been kind of up and down a lot this year, but especially for TCU coming into this one with a win over a top 10 team in Texas Tech. It's going to be a tough one for the Bearcats today.
Yeah, they beat Texas Tech 69-66, three-point win for them at home. Now, worth noting that TCU is not a very good road team, only 2-6 on the road, similar to the Bearcats. They're not a very great road team. But Cincinnati does know how to defend their home court. 10-4 here at Fifth Third Arena on the season. They have the chance to get another win in the win column. It's an uphill battle to make the tournament. Like you said, they've dropped a couple they really shouldn't have, and that puts their chances a little bit lower than what you'd like as a Bearcats fan, but they're not down and out yet. You pretty much need to win out. Maybe you can drop one more, but then you need to win in the conference tournament.
Yeah, the conference tournament is going to be the most important thing for this team, and obviously you still have a chance to get hot at the right time. Obviously, just like you said, 10-4 at home. Their last two home games that they have won against Utah was the last one here at Fifth Third Arena, but for the Bearcats, this TCU team has been hot. They've won 4 of their last 5 games heading into this one. It's going to be tough to beat them today, but I would like to see this offense kind of come out with a different approach than I've seen the last 2 games to try to propel themselves to a win today.
Yeah, the offense has been on a little bit of a run since the early start of February, averaging 78 points per game since February 5th. Of course, their season total at 71, but of course before this run, that season total was down in the mid-60s, so this really has inflated the offensive stats. Of course, it doesn't help that the Bearcats are without Simas Lukosius for the second straight game. Josh Reed has been inserted into the starting lineup again. He made his first career start at West Virginia. Jack, let's talk a little bit about the Bearcats. Coming off that loss, you're back home, you need to win. What do they need to do?
Yeah, some of my keys to the game for the Bearcats to win today on an afternoon day at Fifth Third Arena. Number one is establishing the lead early. TCU on the season is 11-1 when having the lead at the break. Cincinnati needs to come out with a fire early. They got to get the offense going, and that leads to my second key to the game is to get to that 80-point mark. UC is 9-0 when the offense has scored 80 points this season. When we've seen it multiple times when the offense really gets going, takes the pressure off the defense, and hopefully that can propel them to a win.
And then for TCU, they're not a very good road team, 2-6. They've never won in Cincinnati, 0-3, only 1-6 all time versus the Bearcats. Their only win was last year. What does TCU need to do to get that road win and steal one from Cincinnati?
I think the first thing that the Horned Frogs need to do is expose UC's weaknesses. We've seen it a lot this year where turnovers and bad defensive possessions have started to lead Cincinnati into a bit of a hole. We've seen in the last couple of games, but my second key is also to shut down the threes. For UC, they've shot it a lot better in the last couple of contests, getting double-digit threes in 3 of their last 4 games. And when UC shoots the ball well from the perimeter, it opens up the paint for Bandego and Dylan Mitchell to get going inside. So I think if TCU can shut down that perimeter offense, it can lead them to a victory.
Of course, that perimeter is going to be harder to score from for Cincinnati without Lukosius, who is kind of their main perimeter threat. They run a lot of sets, off-ball screens, slip down the baseline. Without him in that West Virginia game, sometimes the offense just looks stagnant. You're waiting out there in the court. Even the players look like they're waiting. All right, Simas is going to come around this corner any minute. We're going to give it to him for the 3. He wasn't out there. So you need to either change up, have someone else run those same sets, or you need to completely switch up your offense to work around the perimeter, because even guys, when Day Thomas and Jizzle James aren't hitting those perimeter shots, you need to find someone else, and there really isn't anyone else besides Lukosius.
Yeah, it was really evident, especially at the end of the West Virginia game, when you go down to the last possession, you have to hit a 3 to send the game to overtime, and obviously Tyler Betsy couldn't quite get it. He left it short, but maybe that's one of those plays where Lukosius would have stepped up, a veteran guy who can shoot the ball really well, but I think it also puts more pressure on Jizzle James and Day Thomas to shoot well, especially not having one of your best three-point shooters out there, it's going to be interesting how the offense does from behind the arc today.
Yeah, Cincinnati, they've got a couple tough games coming up for the rest of their schedule. Of course, they do have Baylor here for their next one, which is going to be, I mean, that win could pretty much bring them back into tournament if they were able to win this one, win that one. After that, they've got Houston on the road, and that is probably your toughest game of the season. Kansas State back here in Cincinnati, and they end the season at Oklahoma State in Stillwater. So there's a couple winnable games out there and a couple really tough ones, so we'll have to see. Pretty much Cincinnati has to win the ones they're supposed to and then take one of Baylor, Houston to stay alive.
Yeah, obviously that Houston game, no one expects Cincinnati to win that one, and I think that is one they could drop. Obviously Houston, the top 10 team, but just like you said, Baylor would be a quad one win. It would be big, especially here at home after getting smoked in Waco earlier in the season. So I think if they take care of business these last couple of games, maybe get one or two in the conference tournament, it could be interesting to see Cincinnati sneak in the tournament.
To emphasize even more how tough that Houston team can be, especially when playing in Houston. They're playing Iowa State today, later this afternoon. Houston's at home. This is an Iowa State team who was a top 10 team for a while. I think they still are, and the Bearcats lost to them. Houston's still favored by 12.5. That's just how good their home court advantage is. It's going to be a tough one for Cincy down the road.
Yeah, that Iowa State team, they're very good, but I still think the Bearcats played really well against them last week, going on the road against a top 10 team. But just like you said, any Big 12 game on the road is tough, but especially when you're going against one of the best teams, with a team with title hopes especially.
About 2 minutes and 20 seconds still on the clocks here at fifth third. Starting lineups have come out for both squads. Day-Day Thomas, Jizzle James, Josh Reed, Dylan Mitchell, and Aziz Bandego. The same five as the last game against West Virginia. And for TCU, you got Brendan Wenzel, Vaishon Ouellette, Noah Reynolds, David Punch, and Ernest Uday. TCU's run with that lineup for a while. They're 5-1 with that starting five. So these guys know how to play together. They've played really well in recent games. Of course, TCU's been on a hot streak like we've mentioned. So it's going to be tough. See how Cincinnati kind of break up the chemistry that lineup has. And it's even more difficult when you're missing one of your typical starters, inserting a guy like Josh Reed in there who hasn't had a ton of run time with the rest of the starting lineup. Kind of how is that going to look? How cohesive is the unit going to look out there on the court today?
Yeah, I think it's interesting for both of these teams. We talked about it a lot, the coaches not being in the starting lineup. How's the offense going to be different with, Josh Reed stepping up here later in the season? But the thing I'm looking at in TCU's lineup is that they have a very, very diversified group out there. You got a freshman in David Punch, you got a sophomore in Vaishon Ouellette, but then you also have two seniors and a junior in there as well. So it's really interesting how both of these coaches are kind of mixing up their lineups. And obviously for TCU, we've talked about it a bunch already. Being hot, you're not going to take a lineup out that's winning games. So hopefully Cincinnati can shut down some of those guys, but who's going to be the guy that can step up for the Bearcats today is my question.
I mean, I think after the last couple games, you have to look at Jizzle James out there on the court. He's been ridiculous. 20.4 points per game over his last 5. Only 13 at West Virginia. A little bit of a rough shooting night, 6 for 20, but multiple 25, 24-point games before that. He's really stepped up since February, and it's what they needed, because after dropping early games in the conference, they needed a guy like Jizzle James to step back up.
Well, I think it was especially important for Jizzle James, especially getting into this time of the year now where they need him to be able to win these games, but he just got his confidence back. We saw it a lot in the beginning of the year where just a little hesitant to shoot shots, a little hesitant to lead the offense, but we saw 3 straight 20-point games. He's been really, really efficient. He's also been shooting the ball amazing. I mean, he's been stroking it from behind the arc, so hopefully he can continue. But he's also dishing out the passes as well. He's been doing a great job at giving it to his teammates, almost 4 assists a game. So he has been a very, very big contributor to this offense.
With that, we'll take a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio as the starting lineups are announced here in Arena, and we will come back in just a few minutes for the tip-off. over there. We fixed the internet. Like you said, Bearcats are up 5-0. There's 18 left in the first half. Alette driving on James is stopped. 10 on the shot clock for TCU. Noah Reynolds up top, now 5, guarded closely by Thomas. Off to Alette, poked away by James. Down to 1 second. Mitchell dove for it right at the end, and we're gonna get a shot clock violation. That'll go to the way of the Bearcats.
Yeah, great defense for Cincinnati on the first couple of possessions. They've really been shutting down this TCU offense all around. We saw Wenzel trying to shoot a 3, then they tried to get inside, but that one, great defense by Jizzle James, preventing the pass, and it leads to a turnover.
TCU still scoreless through 2.5. The Bearcats with the ball. James gets it off the screen. Up top, double screen thwarted by TCU. Now over to Thomas on the wing. Tried to go down low, no passing lane available. James, cross mid-range jumper off the back iron, a high bounce. David Punch with the board for the Horned Frogs. Reynolds gets a lane past Thomas, rise up for a short jumper, and he misses it. Still nothing on the board for the Horned Frogs. Mitchell in transition, spins, he's stopped. Good defense by Punch. Now back out Thomas on to Mitchell in the roll. Down low, Bandego swings out Reed in the corner. Thought about the 3, gets to the elbow, short jumper is good.
Josh Reed, nice J off of the pass. Shot clock was kind of winding down, but a nice shot there. Bearcats 7-0 run to start this game.
Mitchell wanted the steal on that one. Instead, Reynolds will put up a corner 3. No good. Rebound to Josh Reed. TCU just not able to find the bottom of the bucket so far. Thomas on the 5th-3 logo. Trapped on the wing. Has to retreat out to Reed. Swing it all the way on the other side is Jizzle James working on Alette. Crosses him, gets the lane, acrobatic, tried to pass it to Bandego, loose ball. Thomas comes up with it. Short baseline J, and he sinks it.
How about Dede Thomas not allowing and not giving up on the play? Jizzle James, nice crossover, tried to find him the first time, but Dede Thomas, nice job to not give up on it, gets the bucket, 9-0 Bearcats.
Alette had the ball poked away by James. He gets it back. Double team, puts with a tough floater with the right hand. It's off the mark.
Bearcats are playing great defense so far. They're contesting every single shot so far, and it's why they're not allowed TCU to score.
Mitchell spins baseline, swing it up. James, wing 3, no good. Fight for the board goes to Uday and the Horned Frogs. High pass and way over the head of David Punch. Alette was trying to get the backdoor cut and just missed it. That's a timeout. 9-0 Cincinnati leading early in the first half.
Yeah, TCU needs to talk to their team. They're in all sorts of flustered right now. After that turnover, they tried to lob it, but it missed everything. The Bearcats offense has just jumped out to a great start, shooting at 60% from the field to start the game. So Bearcats, just like we talked about, great start to this one.
9 for the Bearcats. TCU scoreless. We'll take a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio and be back in just a few. Back out of the timeout, both teams still in the huddle. But the Bearcats, they've started this game out strong. And, Jack, that was something you were really stressing in the pregame, that they have to come out to an early lead.
Yeah, the Bearcats already jumped out to a 9-0 lead on TCU. I talked about it in the pregame. TCU 11-1 on the season when leading at halftime, but in the first 5 minutes of play, Cincinnati pretty much just dominated overall. TCU still has not found the scoreboard, but Dede Thomas has had 5 points. Josh Reed also, Dylan Mitchell, and all 3 of those guys have contributed well. They've also played really good defense overall, not allowing TCU to get comfortable at all. They've forced some turnovers and allowing the shot clock to run down. But if they continue to do that, they can push this lead up to a little bit more of a marginal lead.
TCU already at 0 of 5 from the field and 2 turnovers. They're averaging just under 12 turnovers a game at 11.7. Bearcats, they haven't turned the ball over yet. They're shooting 4 of 7 from the field. 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. Thomas leading things so far with 5 points and 1 assist.
Yeah, I think the difference has been for this offense is that they're finding really, really good looks. We've seen a lot this year where their offense kind of gets into this thing where they just force shots, don't really take the open looks, and a lot of it's been heads-up plays. I mean, we saw from Dede Thomas there right before the media timeout. Jizzle James almost turned the ball over, but he picked it up, got the bucket. But it's just stuff like that. The hustle has been there for the Bearcats, and hopefully they can continue it.
C.J. Frederick checked into the game for Cincinnati along with Arrington Page. He hasn't played more than 6 minutes since January 28th, been nursing some injuries, so good to see him back out there early. A couple substitutions for TCU as well. Trezarian White is on the floor, as well as Jace Posey and Michael Robinson, so a young lineup for TCU. Cincinnati with the ball, it's Dede Thomas. Gives to Reed, now back to Thomas. Skillings comes off the baseline screen, might have had space. Set us back out. Dede once again, crosses his left, rise up, jumper from the mid-range, and he buries it. Thomas, a killer from the mid-range, as always.
Yeah, Dede Thomas jumped out very well so far, already 7 points for him. He leads Cincinnati, but I mean, you can't stop that if you're TCU. You can get tested, but he gets so high in the air there for the shot.
The Horned Frogs still with a goose egg on the board. Robinson driving on Frederick, has to retreat out. They give it to Vashon Ouellette. Ouellette gets doubled off of the screen, might have traveled, puts with the wild layup. He misses it, rebound to Arrington Page. Cincy in transition. Reed had the corner 3, he passed it up. Backing down, Trezarian White gets a lane, tries to draw the foul, but he makes the shot anyways.
Big body move from Josh Reed, passed up the 3-point opportunity, but he just backs him down, and he gets the bucket to go. 13-0 Bearcats.
Reed making just his first career start last game against West Virginia. He had 4. He already has 4 today in 6 minutes. Ouellette, a deep 2. He makes it, but an off-ball foul call. Looks like that's going to go on Josh Reed. He's going to check out of the game.
I wasn't really sure. So they're counting the basket, but they're also calling a foul. But even still, TCU's first basket of the game still was a contested 3. But Bearcats lead by 10 with 6 minutes to play, and now Josh Reed will check out of the game.
They did call that a 3. I thought off initial angle for me it looked like a deep 2, but of course we don't have the greatest angle on the far side of the court here. So 13-3, Cincinnati leading. Tyler Betsy into the game for the Bearcats. Vashon Ouellette working on Thomas. Gives off to Robinson, driving to his right side on Frederick. Rises up, off the glass, he missed it. Board goes to Dan Skillings. Skillings up to Betsy on the 5th-3rd logo. Now back over to Dan. Since he's swinging it around the perimeter, trying to look for a break in the Horned Frogs defense. It's Skillings. Picks up his dribble on the wing, down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Not much movement this possession. Skillings on the baseline, spins, he is stuffed, nowhere to go. 3 seconds, Betsy corner 3. Short offensive rebound to Dan Skillings. Kick out, Thomas for 3. No good, fight for the board. This time it goes to Vashon Ouellette and TCU. 13 minutes left in the first half. Ouellette working on Betsy. Rises up with the right hand scoop. It just rolls out. It's like it's Page and Diallo down there fighting for the board. little chippy between those two. They don't want to give up the ball.
Yeah. Underneath the basket, but on the other end before, Bearcats kind of a sloppy offensive possession. That's the stuff you don't want to get into. Yeah, I think they might have called it. No, they call it jump ball.
Yeah, they'll stay with TCU. They'll get it on, looks like on the baseline. Dylan Mitchell's checked back into the game as well as Jizzle James for the Bearcats during that jump ball. Jace Posey, redshirt freshman, has it out there, guarded by Betsy. Kicks down low to Diallo, trying to back down Dylan Mitchell. He loses the ball twice, gets it back. Michael Robinson, 5 on the shot clock. TCU needs to get a shot. Noah Reynolds working on James, forced to put up a tough one. No good. And Dylan Mitchell is able to grab the loose ball.
All right, great defense by Cincinnati again.
Up, Betsy for a wing three. No good. Might have been tapped on the hand for that shot. No call on the foul. Reynolds to White for three in the corner. No good again. TCU just shooting under 10% from the field in 8 minutes of play. Dan Skillings takes a screen. TCU working in a zone now, kind of confusing the Bearcats. Betsy drives inside, gets his own offensive board, puts it up again, and he's fouled. Yeah,
the Bearcats are just out hustling TCU in all aspects of the game right now. Second chance opportunity from the freshman there, draws the foul, and the Bearcats have just been playing phenomenal basketball.
It's nice to see Tyler Betsy kind of put the ball on the floor and make a move that isn't out on the perimeter, typically just a spot-up shooter for the Bearcats, but that time he gets his way inside and fights to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's been more of a shooting threat this year, but nice to see the physicality from the freshman.
First free throw is off the back iron and good, and some visible frustration from Betsy out there on the court after that one.
Yeah, free throws have just been a struggle for this team all year long, and I'm sure especially as a freshman, you want to try to make your impact any way you can, and not being able to get easy points like that definitely stinks.
Neither team has scored in the last 2 minutes. Betsy has a chance to break that. Second one at the line is up, and this time it's good. First point of the day for Tyler Betsy. 14-3, Cincinnati leading by 11. Under 12 left in the first half now. Noah Reynolds working to his left, guarded by James. Now Posey comes off the screen, gets inside in the paint on Mitchell, spins, kicks out. White got Skillings in the air, has a lane, he has it sent back by Bandega. Mitchell to Skillings on the break, and Skillings is stuffed by Jace Posey. TCU working quickly already on the other end. Robinson inside, gets past James, and we'll get a foul on James, looks like before the shot.
Yeah, I mean, great defense from Bandega on the other end, but unfortunately, Bearcats could not capitalize off of it. Both teams have been on a scoring drought for about 3 minutes, so other than the free throw from Betsy. So
14-3, Cincinnati leads. Timeout here on the floor as there's 11:27 left in the first half. Both teams 0 of their last 5. We'll take a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio and return in just a few. Back after the timeout, TCU will get a baseline inbound off of the Jizzle James foul. Uday has it deep in the corner, guarded by Thomas. A mismatch there. They might try to get it down low. Alette got a mismatch on Bandego outside. So they're swinging around. Alette back on the other side, working on Bandego. Crosses. A tough shot. Hits the top of the backboard. Out of bounds. Looks like it was off of Dylan Mitchell.
A great defense from Bandego. Even on the mismatch, still be able to contest a shot like that. Went off the top of the scoreboard, and now there's 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Noah Reynolds will inbound it this time. Last time it was Alette. High in the David Punch on the wing. Back to Reynolds. Corner 3. Off the mark. Rebound Bandego.
Great defensive possession by Bandego.
Already up to Betsy on the wing for 3. Pump faked it. Pumps again. This time gets a lane in the baseline, and now he stops. Kicks back out to James. James guarded by David Punch outside. Has it poked away and stolen. A fast break. Reynolds and Punch. And Reynolds is stopped. Good defense by Thomas to get back. Said they kick over. Wenzel puts up a 3.
Yeah, first field goal for the Horned Frogs in over 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They needed that one bad.
Only 2 field goals for them, and both have been 3-pointers. 14-6, just over 10 left in the first half. Day Thomas guarded by Noah Reynolds. Gives to Betsy coming off of the screen. Back over Thomas, now James on the wing. Going baseline, rises up, short mid-range jumper. He misses it. Mitchell soars in for the putback.
Great heads-up play by Dylan Mitchell, and he's been a guy that's been quiet the last couple of games with 4 early points here for Dylan Mitchell.
16-6, back up by 10. Reynolds driving, gets stopped by Thomas, back out Wenzel. He had their last 3. Now Uday, back out Reynolds. Now Alette on the wing, fakes the 3, now will take it, leaves it short. James with the board, pushing, already on the other end. Now he'll have a poke away from behind, almost hit the referee. It's kind of just bouncing around. James runs it down to Betsy for the wing 3, just rims out. Betsy can't get one to fall.
Yeah, chaotic possession. Jizzle James had it poked away multiple times, and they were not able to finish.
David Punch in the deep wing, backing down Thomas, gets in the paint, spins, puts it up with the right hand, and we'll get a, looks like TCU's calling for a goaltend on that one.
They gave it to him.
And yeah, Bandego rose up, knocked that one away. Looks like they'll give
one of the officials motioned for it to be good, but they're going to look at it no matter what.
It's like another motion for a foul on Day Thomas, so there could be multiple things that they're looking at now over at the scorer's table. Either way, it's 16-6 Cincinnati. They're shooting 41% from the field. TCU only 18% from the field. It's only been 2 attempted free throws so far. It's been a quick first half.
It has been pretty clean, not many fouls so far. Both offenses have been, you know, kind of off and on. You know, Cincinnati had that really good start, but now 1 for 8 in their last 8 attempts. They're going to give them the basket as well.
Yeah, so they will make that 8-16 now. And it looks like we're going to get a free throw as well, as Punch was fouled on the shot.
Wow.
So
that's like the second time that's happened.
That's the foul on Day Thomas.
It happened a little bit earlier when they gave him the 3 and also gave them the possession of the ball too. So now they get 2 shots after the goaltending.
Griffith, Reed, and Frederick have checked back in for Cincinnati. Punch converts the 3-point play. 16-9. 9 minutes left in the first. Day Thomas brings it up for the Bearcats. Off to Reed in the corner. Trying to look down low. He has it knocked away out of bounds. And we'll get a sideline inbound for Cincinnati.
Yeah, Bearcats offense has just been slow in the last couple of minutes. I want them to try to get some of these looks that they had in the first couple of minutes of play, where they were trying to, you know, get off the screen, get good jump shots, but they've kind of just been like a little clustered so far.
Thomas takes the screen, working, hands off to Griffith on the wing, pass down low. Mitchell gives to a cutting Reed, baseline, and finishes the and one. Josh Reed, a perfect 3 for 3 on the day.
Great pass from Dylan Mitchell as well, over the top, right past the defender, and nice cut there by Josh Reed for the 3-point play.
6 points, 1 rebound, 3 of 3 from the field, and a chance to make that 7 points with the free throw if he converts. And he makes it. Josh Reed, 7 points, only averaging 3.6 on the year. He's already doubled that.
Yeah, it seems like Josh Reed, every time he comes and plays a game at Fifth Third Arena, always has a good game.
Punch in the paint, spins, gets inside, and lays it off the glass over Dylan Mitchell. 19-11, Thomas gets the handoff out to Griffith. Now Reed on the wing. Kicks over, Thomas. Might have had space for a minute. Alette came back for the contest. Now over Frederick. He'll take a 3. No good. Offensive board. Griffith, 1 dribble. Goes back up. Missed it. Fans thought there could have been contact there. Instead, it's Vaishon Alette getting inside. He kicks it out. Reynolds, cross, drive over Frederick and gets it to go. Down to just a 6-point lead for Cincinnati.
Yeah, 2 straight really good possessions from the Horned Frogs, and Cincinnati continues to struggle with getting an open look here. So now 6-point game.
TCU's 3 of their last 3. Bringing that shooting percentage up to 26%. Frederick faked the pass over to Mitchell. Griffith missed the cutting layup. Just bounced around on the rim and out.
Yeah, I love the play design, though, by Cincinnati. I like the passes. It was a great look, just could not finish.
Reed guarding Uday up top. It's been a quiet day for Ernest Uday. Alette working on Griffith up top. Double cross inside the paint. Fadeaway jumper, and that's good. 4 of their last 4 now for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, all of a sudden everything is just falling for TCU as Wes Miller will call a timeout now. And don't look now, it's a 4-point game.
A good timeout call by Wes Miller. The Bearcats have surrendered a 6-0 run to the Horned Frogs. Lead is down to just 19-15 in Fifth Third. We'll take a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. We'll be back in just a few. Only under 7 minutes left now in the first half. Returning after the timeout, Cincinnati leading 19-15, but TCU's gone on a run, a 6-0 run to cut it down to just a 4-point lead after previously leading by 13. It's been a rough couple minute stretch for the Bearcats. Our last field goal was Josh Reed making that and one back at the 8:42 mark. We're at 6:52 now, and the Bearcats need to get a bucket.
Yeah, after going up 13-0 on TCU, they've just stormed right back and made it a 4-point game. And I really want a good look here from the Bearcats.
Thomas draws the double off the screen, now gives off Dan Skillings. Skillings working on Robinson. Another slow-moving possession down to 5 seconds. Thomas rises up for a three, and he misses everything.
I mean, that's just not the shot selection out of a timeout that you want. I mean, I get the shot clock's running down, but absolutely no ball movement at all, and a forced shot leads to a turnover.
Cincinnati down to just 36% from the field, 11% from three. Vashon Alette has it, gets past Thomas, works his way into the paint, now retreats back out. Trezarian White. Back Alette, and we're getting a legal screen call on Ernest Ude as he clipped Thomas on that one.
Yeah, turnover for TCU, and as Betsy and Jizzle James would check in for Mitchell and Dede Thomas. So Jizzle James been very, very quiet today, which has been kind of uncharacteristic in the last couple of games.
Yeah, 0 points, 0 for 3 from the field after averaging over 20 his last 5. See if he can get something going, spark this Cincinnati offense. Only 19 points through 14 minutes of play. Skillings has it, takes a screen from Bandego, crosses, gets a lane in the paint with the left, and he bounces it in.
Yeah, Dan Skillings, nice take there. Good take with the left hand right over the defender and back to a 6-point game.
Diallo on the perimeter, hands off Vashon Alette. Now over Jace Posey. TCU working it around. Gets it to White. He'll rise up with the right, and he's stuffed by Skillings.
Great defense. Skillings, if it wasn't going to get blocked by Skillings, it was for sure going to get blocked by Bandego. But overall, great help side defense there. And now 8 seconds on the shot clock. Make sure you don't allow any open shots here.
Trezarian White checking out. 0 for 3 on the day after having 16 points in that upset win against Texas Tech. Said they bring Noah Reynolds back in. Pass is picked off by Skillings. One-on-one. Just leaves the layup short. Good defense by Jace Posey to get back and contest that one. Instead, Alette gets it down to a cutting Posey, rises up and finishes over Pantego.
Yeah, not a great possession there from Dan Skillings after, I mean, he got the steal, went down, couldn't convert, and then gave up that bucket on defense, so.
James gets baseline, drives, blocked by Posey, and we'll get an easy goaltend call as the ball had already kissed the glass.
Yeah, first basket of the game for Jizzle James there.
He's the Bearcats' leading scorer at 12.2 a game. Cincy putting on a very light press, kind of a shadow press, as I like to call it. Noah Reynolds gets cross half court, guarded by James. Under 5 minutes left now in the first half. Both teams' offenses have been stagnant the whole way through. Diallo hands off to Reynolds. Smothered by Bandego. Down to 3. Posey forced to put up a deep one, and he hits it. Jace Posey.
Yeah, I don't know what you could have done better there on defense for Cincinnati. A deep 3 there, cuts it to a 3-point game.
The redshirt freshman already with 5 points. Now on the other end, James had space for the 3, faked it, instead gets to the elbow jumper, just rattles out. 23-20. Chance for TCU to potentially tie it up with a 3. White gets it on the cut. He misses everything off the side of the backboard, and it hits him as he's sitting out of bounds. An unfortunate sequence of events for Trezarian White.
Yeah, this Bearcats offense, though, definitely concerning. I mean, 13 points in the first couple minutes of the first half, and now they're only at 23 with 3 to go in the first half. And I talked about in the pregame how when they score in big margins, especially when they get to that 80-point mark, they win. They've won every single game so far, but definitely not going to be the thing that only 23 so far for this offense.
Yeah, not only that, TCU, they're good in close games as well. 9-1 in 5-point games this season. If they can keep this one close, they like their chances. They know they can close out. The stats are kind of in TCU's favor, which is unfortunate for the Bearcats. The one thing that Cincinnati does have is the rebounding battle. TCU, they're typically winning when they win the rebound battle, 10-1, and they've done so in their last 3 games, which has helped them go on that 3-1 streak. However, Cincinnati is leading the rebound battle. They're up only 2, so it is close. Under 4 left in the first. And the Bearcats really need to get something going on offense. Like you've mentioned that skid, TCU's brought the shooting percentages back to be pretty close. And Cincinnati's only attempted 3 free throws. That may be where they need to try to go. Just work their way inside and get some opportunities at the line. It's just a little easier.
Yeah, I mean, for Cincinnati, these last 3 minutes are going to be very, very important coming out of this timeout. You want to try to get good looks, but the defense just hasn't quite as been there, like other than the first couple of minutes of the game. Really good contest, really good help side defense, but TCU's just been hitting their shots the last couple of minutes, and it made it a tight game.
Day Thomas and Josh Reed are tied for your leading scorers with 7 apiece. They have 14 of your 23, which is pretty ridiculous to rely on just the 2. Mitchell in the lead and rebounds with 4 on TCU's side. Vashon Alette is leading with 5 points for them. Tied with David Punch and Jace Posey as well. So a couple contributors for TCU. Of course, Cincinnati is 6-1 all time against this Horned Frogs team. They want to keep that streak alive, that record alive, and not let TCU gain any ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for TCU in this huddle, they're talking about is how, they've crawled their way back, but also we talked about that halftime lead is so important for them, and in these last couple of minutes, it's going to be very, very important to continue their offensive production, especially with the Bearcats offense that has been really, really stagnant the last couple of minutes. TCU's went on a 6-0 run the last minute 40, and they've also made their last 4 field goal attempts. So for Cincinnati, they're all around kind of an interesting offensive output. Josh Reed and Day Thomas lead the way with 7. Dylan Mitchell has 4. But just like we said, Drizzle James only 2 points after he's been the leading scorer for the last couple of games.
Yeah, they'll need James to pick it up, and it looks like he will stick on the floor coming out of the timeout, as well as Thomas and Skillings.
Yeah, they're going to go with that 2-guard look we've seen a lot this year with Day and Jizzle. They keep Dan Skillings out, and then also they're going to have Betsy and Dylan Mitchell, so interesting lineup.
A little bit of a smaller lineup, keeping Bandego and Page out, opting for Mitchell at the 5. And they'll have a tough task. You got Malik Diallo out there, true freshman from Mali. He was 6'9", 230. A little bit bigger than Mitchell down there.
Yeah.
See how he fares. Day Thomas gets across half court, looking to break the Bearcats' bad offensive streak. It's Skillings, drives baseline, kicks to Betsy, catches it high in the corner, swing it around to the other side. James, wing 3, leaves it short, offensive board to Dylan Mitchell. Thomas drives to his left, acrobatic up and under, just bounces off.
Yeah, I don't hate the shot selection there.
Working quickly on the other end, Punch misses the layup. Offensive board to Posey. TCU with another opportunity. Punch will take the 3 from the wing. He leaves it short. Rebound, Dylan Mitchell. Cincinnati working quickly. James gives to a cutting Skillings. Now back to James. Corner 3. And knocked down, Jizzle James.
Yeah, nice shot there from Jizzle. Really, hopefully he can get going here in the last 2 minutes of the half. Heading into the second half, only 5 points.
Only the second three for the Bearcats today. They're 2 of 11. Diallo almost had it stolen from him by Mitchell. Instead, it's Posey on the wing. High pass over to Noah Reynolds. Crossing on James into the paint, running floater, and he banks it in.
Yeah, TCU is just, when they've gone inside the last couple of minutes, they've been very, very efficient. Knocking in another one, they're keeping up with the Bearcats.
Just over 2 minutes left in the first half. 26-22, Cincinnati leading by 4. Dan Skillings has it. Now back up top. Thomas swing it over to James on the 5th-3rd logo. Crosses, sidesteps, no space. Kicks over to Skillings, wing 3, and he gets it to go. Dan Skillings with a triple.
Great pass from Jizzle James, who was getting almost double teamed. Finds the pass to Skillings, and they've stretched the lead out to 7. Hopefully they can get a stop here.
29-22, 140 left in the first half. Diallo has it up top, gives it off Noah Reynolds. Spinning, gets a lane over Mitchell. Ball is bouncing around. Thomas comes down with it. He's pushing on the other end. James on the wing. He thought about the 3. Instead, he crosses inside. Left-handed floater off the glass is good.
Yeah, beautiful take from Jizzle James there. 7 points for him, and all of a sudden, Bearcats lead by 9.
The crowd back into the game with that little run by the Bearcats. 3 of their last 3 from the field. That puts them back up 31-22 by 9 points. Timeout called by Jamie Dixon and the Horned Frogs. 1:22 left in the first half. We'll take a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio and return in just a few. Back after the timeout, Noah Reynolds has it. Guarded by Thomas, needs to get across half court, and he does. Draws the double. The Bearcats with aggressive defense out. Wenzel puts up the 3, almost missed everything, just clipped the side rim. Offensive board to Uday, and TCU gets another shot. This time, Punch gets inside and flushes the two-hander. Under a minute left in this one. Cincinnati leading by 7, 55 seconds left. Dede Thomas gives it to James. Wanted the lob to Bandego, had it poked away as he threw it. TCU could go 2 for 1 if they work quickly. Punch gets inside, spins, blocked by Bandego. Offensive board to Wenzel. Down to 31 seconds. Reynolds inside, rises up again and missed once again. Shot clock has been turned off. Just 22 left on the game clock, and the Bearcats will presumably hold for the final shot of the half.
Yeah, the officials let him play. Bandego has a lot of physicality inside, but a good stop. Bearcats will have the last shot of the half.
Down to 10 seconds. James just dribbling out on the half-court logo. Now some movement, and we'll get an off-ball foul. Before the shot from Thomas. So we'll get a sideline inbound here in front of the scorer's table. James will be the inbounder. Down to just 6 seconds left. James looking for Reed on the other side. He gets it to him, and Reed is fouled in the corner. TCU had 1 to give, so they use it there. Now down to just 4. This time James on the opposite baseline. Looks like the same action. This time they get it in Bandego. Handoff back to James for 3. Misses it. Fans wanted the foul as James was knocked to the floor. Instead, we'll go to half as is. 31-24. Cincinnati leading by 7.
Overall, I mean, solid half of basketball for Cincinnati. A lot of ups and downs that half, but still up 7 going to the break. I mean, that's a win for the Bearcats.
Cincy shooting 41% from the field, TCU 31. Only leading by 7. Their largest lead came 13, and that was when they started the game up 13-0. We'll see a lot of action left in this one. 20 more minutes left to play. We'll be back here after timeout. Jack will have the call for the second half. Take a halftime break here on Bearcat Sports Radio.
Live back here at Fifth Third Arena, Cincinnati basketball here on Bearcat Sports Network. I'm Jack Ritchie. Alongside me is Justin Dietrich, and Cincinnati holds a 7-point lead, 31-24, heading into the second half. But just going over some of the first half statistics for Cincinnati, 3 guys with 7 points across the board. Eddie Thomas, Chisel James, Josh Reed, Dan Skillings also adding 5 to that total, as well as Dylan Mitchell adding 4, and Tyler Betsy adding 1 point. And for TCU, David Punch leads the way with 7 points. Visan Alette has 5, and Jace Posey also adds 5, the leading scorers for the Horned Frogs. But, you know, Justin, going into the second half, Cincinnati, they got out to that big start. They kind of slowed down a little bit midway through that first half, but now they lead by 7 heading into this half. And they're talking about the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half are the most important time of the whole game. How are they going to go out, and how should they respond already being up 7?
Well, I mean, I think you kind of want to look back to what you did at the start of the game where you went on that big run, but also you want to look to Gisel James, and he had a really rough start to the game, and he started to really come on and hit his shots late in that first half, now up with 7 points, tied for the team's leading scorer. He hit down a 3 ball as well. So maybe you want to look for him. I mean, you have your 3 leading scorers out there, Thomas, James, and Reed all tied with 7. So you probably want to work through those 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Starters back out there for both teams to start the second half. Cincinnati will inbound, and we are underway from the second half. Gisel James brings it past the C-Paul logo, gives it to Reed. Over on the left wing, Gisel James has it for the first possession of the second half. Dede Thomas guarded tightly by a TCU defender. Back to James, top of the key, 15 on the shot clock. Back to Thomas. He'll drive in, pump fake, gets inside, trying to get it to Bandego. Goes off of the TCU defender and out of bounds. Cincinnati will maintain possession.
Yeah, 9 on the shot clock for them. I'd like to see them try to maybe work their way inside and just get an easier, higher percentage shot.
So 9 seconds on the shot clock for Cincinnati as they'll inbound underneath the basket. Josh Reed has it in the corner. 7 seconds on the clock. Now they get it back to Gisel James. James gets a screen, passes to Mitchell. Mitchell all the way over to Dede Thomas for a quick 3. That one's short and no good. TCU, good defense on their opening possession. Now they push it. Getting inside. Kicks it to Reynolds for a second, but poked away out of bounds for Dede Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas came sprinting all the way from the other end.
His second career start. Bearcats lead it by 10. So now TCU down by 10, trying to set up the offense a minute into the second half. At the Fifth Third logo, Reynolds had it for a second. Gisel James is going to be calling for the foul on Valette. So now TCU will inbound after the foul by Gisel James. Punch has it guarded tightly by Dylan Mitchell. Back to Alette, gets a screen, moves inside, back to Punch. Punch guarded by Mitchell, puts it up with the left-handed, no good, misses everything. Dylan Mitchell will get the rebound. Now Dede Thomas on the left wing, drives inside, puts it up with the right hand, and he's fouled. Shot is no good, but Brendan Wenzel got him on the way up, and he'll have 2.
You either see Thomas try to work his way inside and get those free throws. He hasn't shot any free throws yet today, but he'll need to get a couple more opportunities from the line since he's going to hold on to this one.
So only the 4th and 5th free throw attempts for Cincinnati as a team today. Dede Thomas's first shot is up and good. Bearcats stretch the lead to 11 now with 18:20 to go in the ball game. Substitution now for TCU as Jace Posey will check in for Wenzel, as Dede Thomas will look to notch his second free throw. It's up and good. 2 for 2 at the line from Dede Thomas, who also has 9 of his own. The guards have been playing very efficiently so far today for the Bearcats. 12-point lead with 18 minutes to go. TCU will bring it up. Dede Thomas, great defense. Posey had it for a second. He kicks it to Alette, top of the key. He'll put it up in the slam. Nice play for TCU as Ernest Uday slams it home. Nice pick and roll action for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, that's the first time they've really gotten Uday involved, even looked for him on an offensive possession, but kind of lulled the Bearcats defense to sleep, and he gets open.
So now Gisel James on the left wing. Bandego with a screen. Now Jizzle James thought about a three. He'll kick it to Day Thomas on the 5th-3 logo. Thomas crossing over. Nice switch from TCU. Thomas gets inside. Jumper is up and short. But Josh Reed, great offensive rebound. Sets the play clock back to 17. And a fresh possession for the Bearcats. Now Jizzle James drives inside. Left-handed finish. And how about a Sports Center top 10 play from Jizzle James with an amazing and one. And the Bearcats lead it by 12.
He went up and under, hung in the air, switched hands, and then spun it off the glass.
That was nasty from the Bearcats point guard. Jizzle James with an amazing finish with the right hand, just like you said, had to control his body going on the way up. And now James will look to finish the three-point play. Free throw is up, and it is good. So Jizzle James will complete his three-point play. He has 9 of his own as well. So Josh Reed, Day Thomas, and Jizzle James almost all in double figures for this Bearcats offense. Cincinnati now leads by 13. TCU already in an early hole here in the second half.
And they've tied their record for largest lead of the game now, too.
And now an air ball misses everything was Visan Alette, who tried to get a three-pointer. And now TCU, as a team, visibly frustrated as Cincinnati controls all the momentum. So now Jizzle James at midcourt after an amazing and one on the last possession. Gets inside to Bandego. Bandego back out to James. James goes with his left hand, puts it up, and he goes no good. Dylan Mitchell almost had an amazing putback dunk, but it rims in and out. TCU has the rebound. So now Alette kicks it to Posey. Now Uday top of the key, guarded tightly by Bandego, 13 on the clock. And now both of them collide, and now Bandego and James are on the fast break. Jizzle James will go up and finish with an easy right hand. TCU will call timeout. Visibly frustrated with the officials is the head coach for TCU. But man, Cincinnati has come out in the first couple of minutes in the second half and dominated.
Yeah, they've really just played at a faster pace, out hustling the Horned Frogs, and now they've got their largest lead of the day at 15.
Well, just when Jizzle James started the first half with 2 points with 3 minutes to go in the first half, he's all the way up to 12 now after that fast break layup. And it just seems like Jizzle James is starting to get going here in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and they needed that from James, right? He had a struggle in that first kind of 15 minutes of the first half, but up to 12 now. He's just about to break his points per game average for the season. So it's good that they have him back out there hitting shots and playing with confidence. They need that.
So we will take a quick timeout into the media timeout for the Bearcats. 41-26, Cincinnati leads. Stay right with us here in the Bearcat Sports Network. Back here at Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio, as the Bearcats lead the TCU Horned Frogs this afternoon, 41-26, with 16:22 to go remaining in the second half. Cincinnati will come out of the timeout with Josh Reed, Bandago, Dylan Mitchell, Jizzle James, and Dede Thomas on the floor. TCU will inbound it. And it looks like Cincinnati's going to be drawing up a full court press here coming out of the timeout. TCU gets it in. Dede Thomas almost stole it away, but the Horned Frogs easily break the press there. Alette top the key, guarded by Jizzle James. Crowd let him know about his last air ball. Now a corner three for the Horned Frogs. That one rims in and out. Good rebound by Ide. Back another three attempt. Thought about it for a second for Alette. He builds up with the right hand and he gets a nice tough finish on Dylan Mitchell.
Yeah, TCU's not going to go away. They're going to keep playing aggressive in this one. They believe they can win any game in this conference.
So now 15:44 left in the second half. Now a lob up to Bandago. No one is underneath, and he just finishes it. And that'll be probably one of the easiest and ones you will see in a while.
Yeah, there's just no one there. He had a clear path, clear lane.
No one was under the basket for the Horned Frogs, and now a quick timeout right after the last one. We'll take a quick break. Stay with us again. Cincinnati 43, TCU 28 here on Bearcast. Cincinnati 43 and TCU 28 is our score with 15:39 remaining in the second half. The Bearcats in a crucial must-win game here at home against conference foe TCU. And looking at the box score so far with 5 minutes played in the second half, Dede Thomas has 9, Jizzle James with 12, Josh Reed with 10, Dylan Mitchell with 4, and Azizi Bandego with 2 points. And Bandego will go to the line for a chance to finish his 3-point play after he got his first points of the contest. Free throw is up and good. 44-28. The Bearcats have stretched this lead out pretty significantly here in the first couple of minutes of the second half. TCU has not been able to get their offense going at all. Alette has it stolen away from Thomas, but it goes right back in the hands of Posey. Posey outside. Good defense by Reed. Punch has it. He's driving on Reed, backing him down. Double team, though. They're going to kick it out to Alette. Deep three, and he goes in and out. Bandego with the rebound. Great defense by UC.
Yeah, they forced Alette into a deep, tough shot.
And right after that, Thomas will turn it over. So TCU will get it back now. Alette drives on Thomas. He puts it up and puts it in. And a bad possession there for the Bearcats. Easy points for TCU.
Yeah, only their third turnover, but you just don't want to give up easy chances like that. Keep hold of the ball.
Especially with a team that's only shooting 31% from the field on the day. Don't want to give them any free opportunities. Now Thomas will turn it over again. So now 2 straight turnovers from Cincinnati. And TCU will get the ball back. So now 3 new substitutions in. 2 of the starters back in for TCU, and Reynolds and Wenzel. Diallo will also check in for Uday. So some new bodies on the floor for the Horned Frogs. Kind of surprising to not see Jizzle James out there right now, but obviously you have to give him some rest.
Yeah, we haven't seen Frederick for kind of that middle point in the first half, as well as we haven't seen Arrington Page or Tyler Betsy come back in a while.
Yeah, and now Bandega will check out for Dylan Mitchell. So Dylan Mitchell will come into the game to guard Diallo. We've seen that matchup a little bit today. So now TCU with 14:30 remaining in the second half. Bearcats lead by 14. TCU trying to fight their way back, though, from this deficit. Reynolds drives in, puts it up with the left hand. No good. Nice rebound by Dylan Mitchell, as Dede Thomas will bring it up the floor. Thomas on the 5th third logo. Drives to the left hand, gets to Dylan Mitchell. Mitchell fumbled it for his second. Driving inside, puts it to Dan Skillings, and now some trouble inside, and they're going to call a jump ball. Crowd wanted a foul, called it. It's going to go the Horned Frogs' way, and now Cincinnati, for the 3rd straight possession, will give the ball away.
Yeah, not exactly what you wanted to do on these last 3 possessions. I thought there could have been a foul, but I think the jump ball is probably the right call.
So now TCU will get it back again. Their defense has stepped up in the last couple of minutes. Horned Frogs down 14 with 13:56 to go in the first half. And now an off-ball foul called on Dan Skillings. And all of a sudden, this Cincinnati team starting to get a little antsy here in the last couple of minutes. So off-ball fouls and 3 straight turnovers.
Yeah, just kind of settle yourselves back down. You're leading by 14. You can kind of calm it down a little bit.
Reynolds step back 3 right in front of Dede Thomas is short. And that's going to go off of Diallo, and it will be Cincinnati basketball. Luckily, TCU just struggling to shoot all around, only 31% on the day. And now Dede Thomas will check out for Jizzle James.
And there we see James come back in, see if he can kind of spark the team's energy back up a little bit.
So James, the leading scorer with 12 points, checks back into the game for Dede Thomas. James kicks it to Mitchell, top of the key, and now here's Frederick. Frederick had it turned away, and now another turnover from TCU. Now the lob up, and it'll be an easy layup. And now a timeout called by Wes Miller, and just like that, 4 straight turnovers. Bearcats still lead by 12, but after an easy put in for White, TCU has cut it to 12, 13:26 to go. We will take a quick break here on the Bearcats Sports Network. So play resumes here in the second half of this one. Bearcats 4 straight turnovers in the last 4 possessions as they bring it down the floor. Jizzle James controls the offense for now. Now Betsy will pull up from 3, and that's short. Nice rebound, though, from Dylan Mitchell underneath. And the Bearcats extend their lead back to 14.
Looks like Betsy thought the shot was tipped there.
And now a foul called on Betsy. So 2 straight fouls on defense for Cincinnati. As Wenzel was driving in on Betsy. So with 12:58 to go, Bearcats starting to rack up some fouls here as Dede Thomas will check in for Jizzle James. Very interesting substitution.
I would have thought maybe Betsy would have been taken out there. He looks a little flustered.
So James only a quick appearance there for the moment. TCU will check it back in now with 12:50 to go. Wenzel inside Diallo. No one is home. Dylan Mitchell switch, but no one was there for Diallo. 12-point game. So Dede, who checked back into the game, has it once again. West staying away from that 2-guard look. There's a lot of forwards on the floor right now. Dede Thomas kicks it over to Skillings. This offense is not moving the ball at all. Skillings drives in, kicks it out. Betsy, 3 seconds on the clock, now down to Mitchell. And no foul is called. And now that finally a foul is called with 1 second on the clock. Mitchell was violated underneath, and now he'll go to the floor for 2.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty clear foul in my opinion. A good feed down low by Betsy to get it to Mitchell. But yeah, he got hit all over the arms there.
So the Bearcats will go back to the line as a team shooting 86% on the day as Bill Mitchell knocks in the first. 7th free throw for this Bearcats team as Josh Reed will check out for Azizi's Bandego. So Mitchell will go for his second shot. It is up and it is good. Bearcats shooting 8 for 9 from the charity stripe tonight. A lot better than their season average. So TCU with 12 minutes to go find themselves down 14 once again. Really need to spark a momentum if you're the Horned Frogs here. Now Wenzel jumps inside, kicks it into the corner. Corner 3 for TCU is long. Nice rebound by Skillings, and Cincinnati's pushing the pace again. Skillings drives in, right-handed floater, a little bit long. Fumbled around for a second, but Dylan Mitchell gets it back, and he'll go back to the line for 2.
A good hustle by Cincy to stay alive and keep your eyes on the ball during that possession. Come up with the loose ball, and you get more chances to score.
Yeah, so Dylan Mitchell will go back to the line for 2, but we'll take another media timeout here in the Queen City. 11:45 remaining, Cincinnati 48 and TCU 34. So we go to the second half once again. Dylan Mitchell goes back to the free throw line for 2 shots after the foul. His first shot is up, and it is good. Bearcats 49 now, TCU 34. And slowly but surely, Cincinnati starting to pull ahead of this one.
Yeah, you're under 12 minutes. You're up by 15, now 16. So you kind of just need to hold on. Don't let TCU go on any crazy runs.
After the free throw by Dylan Mitchell, the team shooting 91% from the free throw now, 10 from 11. As the Bearcats now lead it by 16 with 11 minutes to go. TCU has not been able to find anything going on offense. The Bearcats have been playing great defense so far. And now Dylan Mitchell with a steal. And now the Bearcats on a fast break. Spin move out to Dan Skillings. Thought about a step back 3. Now he'll drive in with the left hand. Spin move, right-handed finish. Hey, that's beautiful from Dan Skillings. It's an 18-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, Skillings, such an athletic guy. When he can get inside, you know it's going to be tough to guard him. I'd like to see him take a little bit more shots, though.
Now Alette will pull up with a jumper, no good. Bandego will pull down the rebound, and now it goes off of his foot. But they're going to say it's still with the Bearcats. They're going to say that Uday hit it out.
Yeah, I don't think they were looking down at his foot. It definitely bounced off his foot.
I thought I saw different, but Cincinnati maintains possession now, and they have a chance to stretch it out to a 20-point lead now. 10:45 remaining in the second half. Dede Thomas kicks it to Betsy. Tight defense from this TCU team. Now Bandego back to Thomas. 5 on the clock now. Thomas drives in, puts it up, and puts it in. I mean, you cannot play better defense if you're TCU, but a better finish from Dede Thomas, and the Bearcats lead by 20.
Just hanging in the air, took the contact midair as well, and kissed it off the glass. Thomas, such a good player when he gets inside.
So 10 minutes to play. Bearcats lead it by 20. Nice finish right there. Inside by David. Punched, one of the leading scorers for this TCU team today. And they've cut it down to 18, but they just have not been able to stop this Bearcats offense. So Thomas top of the key with 9:50 to go. Kicks it over to Skillings. Skillings will get a screen from Bandego. He'll back his man down. Skillings has it poked away, but right into the hands of Bandego. Bandego fadeaway jump shot, misses everything. And they're going to say, call an offensive foul on the Bearcats. So TCU gets a stop now with 9 minutes to go. Bearcats lead it by 18. Alette gets a screen from Punch. Now he picks up his dribble, has to find an outlet pass. He does. They get it back to him. He'll drive inside, lobs it up in the air, and a nice catch by Uday. Kind of an awkward grab for the moment. He would put it back in, 16-point game.
He kind of had to reach down to grab it and then bring it back up to finish it, but good play by him.
Now Dede Thomas dribbles it around. He'll find Betsy in the corner. Inside Bandego, and an easy dunk right there underneath, and Cincinnati will strike back.
And Bandego's having a quietly good game. 5 points, 5 boards, 2 blocks.
Alette drives in. He has it poked away. And now Dede Thomas drives. Euro steps inside. Left-handed finish. No good. Bandego puts it back and make it a 20-point game as TCU will have to call timeout. Bearcats offense has came alive in this second half after only putting up 30. The Bearcats have almost amounted to 60 now, as just like you said, Bandego now, after another bucket, 7 points for him, 3 for 4 from the field. And now with only 8:47 to go, Bearcats are looking pretty.
Yeah, they've really just come alive. I mean, up by 20, they're keeping TCU to bad shots, really. I mean, when they're working their way inside, that's really the only time they're getting shots. Guys like Punch and Uday down low. But the defense has done a good job kind of closing out, hounding them, suffocating, leaving no space, really, to move the ball and get open shots. And that's really what's holding them under 40 now, and they've played, what is that? My math is bad. 32 minutes now? I mean, that's just not the mark you want to be at for TCU.
As a team, they just seem to be a little just outplayed right now. They don't really have any answers. I mean, you're down 20 with just under 9 minutes to go. You have to start crawling your way back right now. So still kind of that press from Cincinnati's defense with 8:40 to go. Alette has it, guarded by Jizzle James, who just checked in. Josh Reed also back into the game for the Bearcats. TCU trying to work that team defense down below. 8 seconds on the clock. Back out now, there's Punch, wide open three, and he'll knock it down. The TCU leading scorer now with 12 points on the day, and TCU really needed that three.
Yeah, and Punch has been really good. It's true freshman form at TCU, averaging 6 a game and shooting really efficiently, and he's starting to come on in these past couple games for them.
So now two-guard look once again. Nice pass from Jizzle James underneath, and Dylan Mitchell will slam it home. 19-point lead.
Yeah, Mitchell, that gives him a 12-point, 11-rebound double-double. Probably his best game of the season, quietly.
Yeah, he's came alive today, this afternoon, just like you said, and now Alette will find Punch again. Punch will drive in. He had to kick it back to Alette. Alette will fade away in the corner. That one's no good. And now two defenders fall down, and it leads to a wide open layup by Alette. Josh Reed and Bandego collided for the moment, and TCU will get the scraps. 17-point game with 7 to go.
Yeah, that was just a chaotic play. There's not really much you can do about that. It's not going to happen very often.
The TCU offense has been scoring a little bit, but they just have not been able to stop the Cincinnati offense. They've just seemed to get a basket every single possession. And now Dede Thomas finds Josh Reed. 9 seconds on the clock. Now Mitchell in the corner. He'll drive in. He's quickly double teamed. Good defense by TCU. Dede Thomas keeps it alive. 1 second, puts it up, and off the rim and no good. TCU, great defensive possession there. And now on the fast break, no one is near Alette, and he'll slam it home. And now TCU will call timeout. 15-point game, kind of a misassignment right there by the guards from Cincinnati.
Yeah, you can't let Alette sneak back there. He's fast. He's the team's second leading scorer. You got to keep eyes on him at all times.
Yeah, Alette now has moved past Punch with 13 points as the leading scorer. Him and Punch with 13 and 12 of their own. But just after that, going to the TCU timeout, we will take a quick break. Cincy 60 and TCU 45. 6:51 left in the second half. Cincinnati leads by 15 over the TCU Horned Frogs. Jack Ritchie and Justin Dietrich with you. Late here in the second half of play, the TCU, after 2 straight baskets, have cut it down to 15. But the real question is, can they continue to get lighter press, let's say? There, Jizzle James back to Reed. And now Reed will get double teamed, and it almost got picked off. Nice catch, though, by Dylan Mitchell. So now Jizzle James will set up the offense with 15 seconds on the clock. 6:30 to go, got tapped away for the moment. 10 seconds on the clock now. Cincinnati has to go fast. Jizzle James crossover, thought about a 3, and now he'll put it up with a man on his back. He'll miss everything. Great rebound, though, by Dylan Mitchell. Dan Skillings chucks it up from the 5th-3rd logo, misses everything, and that's a shot clock violation. Great defensive possession by TCU out of the timeout.
You know Skillings had those last couple threes against West Virginia in his head when chucking that one up. He's like, I can do it again.
Had to force that up with only 1 second on the shot clock, but now TCU has a chance to go cut this lead even more now. Still plenty of time, 6 minutes to play. As Alette will set up the offense. He had the flush, which was the last field goal from either team. Alette moves to his right, kicks it top of the key for TCU. Now Punch over on the right wing. Looks to get inside. Diallo had it for a second, and he will turn it over. So a bad possession there from TCU. Now Jizzle James kicks it in the corner. Betsy fumbled it away. Would have had an open shot if he would have gathered it. And now Jizzle James crossover, gets a screen from Mitchell. He'll drive in, and then he'll turn it over. So TCU's defense coming alive now. And now Posey, wide open 3 off the back iron, and no good. Second chance opportunity, though, for TCU, and Punch is wide open underneath. He will slam it home, and it's a 13-point game with 5 minutes to go. And this crowd and this team kind of just waiting around right now. It's kind of a weird atmosphere right now with Cincinnati with the lead for most of this game, but TCU's slowly crawling back.
Yeah, if you know Cincinnati basketball, lead is never safe. They led against West Virginia in the second half and ended up blowing that lead as well. So you do not want to let your foot off the gas.
And now out to Jizzle James for a corner 3. That one misses. Nice rebound, though, by Betsy underneath. The true freshman with a nice play there. And it's back to a 15-point game. 4:50 to go in the game. Kind of getting down to the crunch time now for TCU. Alette gets it to Punch. Punch guarded by Josh Reed. Nice screen there. Poked away for the moment. It was tipped, so it will not be a backcourt violation. Posey picked up his dribble. He has to get rid of it. 8 seconds on the shot clock now. TCU has to get a good shot. Drives in, and a foul is going to be called on Josh Reed, and that will be 2 free throws for TCU.
Yeah, and this is kind of what TCU needs is shots from the line. You're getting chances for points, and the clock's not ticking. Free throws are your friend.
Only the second and third free throw opportunities for the Horned Frogs. Only 1 shot from the free throw line today, compared to the Bearcats' 10. Free throws up, and it is good. So TCU continues to hang in there. Bandego and Dede Thomas will check in for Reed and Mitchell. So it'll be Bandego, Skillings, Betsy, James, and Thomas out for the Bearcats. Second free throw here from White is up, and it is good. So 2 points there for TCU. Cuts it back to a 13-point game. 4:30 to go. TCU still with that press. James over to Skillings. And now a foul called on White. 16 foul for TCU on the half. So Cincinnati will check it back in now. 4:30 to go. Bearcats lead at 62-49 over the Horned Frogs. They're just trying to hold on to this one here at Fifth Third Arena. Thomas top of the key. Over to Skillings on the wing. Back to Thomas. Back to Jizzle James on the opposite side. James puts it up and puts it in. Had a man fall. Bodied a man and puts it in. And Cincinnati's offense continues to pour it on. 15-point game once again.
Yeah, just keep getting buckets. Keep letting the ball find the basket, and you'll end up pulling this one out.
The clock is TCU's enemy at the moment. With only 3:50 to go. Alette, tough fadeaway, up and no good. But a nice rebound by the freshman Punch underneath. Now White, wide open 3 from the top of the key, and he buries it. And it's a 12-point game. Great job by the freshman Punch to get the second opportunity. And it looks like Dylan Mitchell will be set to check in again after a short break. 3:30 to go. Bearcats just trying to hold on. Betsy will drive in, puts it up, and no good. Late foul called. He will go to shoot two. We will take a quick media timeout. Bearcats holding on so far, 64-52 in a must-win game into conference play. We will take a quick timeout, and we'll be right back. Less than 4 minutes to play here in Fifth Third Arena. Cincinnati leads 64-52 over the TCU Horned Frogs, leading pretty much this whole game. Cincinnati's kind of just dominated overall. And Justin, what are some things that Cincinnati's just done right today?
I mean, really, it's been on the defensive end. They've played well. They've gone really good defense from the perimeter out of all their guards. The closeouts have been fast. They're holding TCU only 5 for 20 from 3. So they're not giving them a lot of open looks, a lot of contested, forcing them into deep ones as well. So I think just kind of playing around that perimeter and shutting down the perimeter has been really good for them.
Tyler Betsy will make his first free throw to make it a 13-point game. His second shot is up, and it is good. 2 for 2 from the line. Bearcats have just been shooting it unbelievably from the free throw line. Over 92% now on the day. Bearcats back to a 14-point lead in this one. TCU just cannot get a stop. For overall today, they've just been getting hammered on the defensive side. And now Day Thomas will steal it away. He'll go up and he misses the dunk, and it goes out of bounds. And Day Thomas tried to fire it home and thunder it down, and it just went up and high in the air, went over the scoreboard, and it will be a turnover.
Yeah, I know you want the highlight play. I know you want the energy boost, but just finish it and get the points.
Quick break here for TCU. quick transition three for the Horned Frogs, no good. Nice rebound by Punch again. Back out to White for a three. That one is good, and it is an 11-point game. It's the closest it's been since the first couple of minutes in the second half, but only down to 2:50 to go. TCU has to get a stop quickly. TCU doesn't have to foul yet. 2:40 to go, 14 on the shot clock. James dribbles it, kicks it to Skillings, back to Jizzle James, 8 seconds on the clock. Bandego guarded tightly with 5 seconds now. Skillings goes to his right, crossover, gets inside, and it is rejected. And now TCU is on the run. Here comes Allette, James guarding him. Allette back out to White. He checked three from him. Goes in and out. Punch with a nice board, though. He'll go up, foul, and one. And just like that, TCU is all of a sudden making this a ball game, 9-point game.
Don't let him crawl back in. You have time on your side. There's 30 seconds every shot clock. You better be taking at least 25 every time you're down on the offensive end for Cincinnati.
I mean, it is just, this has been the story of the season so far. I mean, Bearcats have been controlling it, but they're just allowing TCU to slowly creep their way back now. A free throw here by Punch would make it an 8-point game. Only the fourth free throw for this TCU team on the day, and he will miss that short. So 9-point game, first miss for TCU. 9-point lead for the Bearcats, 2 minutes to go. As Jizzle James will push it, they're gonna double team him for the moment at midcourt. Kicks it to Bandego. And now they're gonna foul Bandego, Punch will, with just under 2 minutes to play. So they're gonna send Bandego to the line. So kind of an interesting strategy here. There's still 2 minutes to go, but they're gonna put the big man on the line. The Cincinnati team has been shooting it excellent, 92% on the day, 12 for 13 from the line. As his first shot is up and it rims in and out, and TCU, it will end up being an amazing foul as they will get possession after the 1-and-1 bonus. And now Allette will drive inside, and he is gonna miss the wide open layup though. They're gonna go down the floor, and now Reed puts it up, and one! And one layup for Josh Reed, who went up for the dunk. He came down hard though, and he is still down. But a huge and one from Josh Reed, and right when TCU had a chance to make it a 7-point game, Josh Reed will put it in, and that will make it even more difficult for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, Josh Reed hasn't missed a shot yet today, and he's been fouled on 2 of them.
Yeah, very physical. Reed came down very hard on his head. But Josh Reed with a big shot there. TCU squandered an opportunity. Allette had a wide open layup to make it a 7-point game, but all of a sudden it's back to a 12-point game now, as there's only a minute 40 left. TCU might just have to start chucking up shots. Reynolds will drive in on James, puts it up and puts it in. And now TCU will call timeout. 10-point game with a minute 30 to go. TCU is holding on for dear life. They're scratching back any way that they can, but Cincinnati's offense almost at the 70-point mark now.
Yeah, you just hold on at this point. Hold on, you know? Put the ball in the basket. Don't let TCU get any easy points off of turnovers. Take your time. That's probably the biggest thing. Take your time.
Be clean with the ball. Don't turn it over. Be smart on offense, just like you said, but we'll take a quick timeout. After the TCU timeout, Cincinnati leads it by 10 with 1 minute 30. Minute 30 to go in this one. Bearcats lead it by 10 over TCU. Cincinnati's been controlling most of the game, leading it by even 20 points at one point, but TCU has kind of stormed back and made it a 10-point game, but they're going to have to get a stop with only 1:30 to go in this one. And now Thomas is getting cornered, and he's going to get it poked away for a second, but good heads-up play for Jizzle James to hold on to it. Almost a drastic turnover there. And now Jizzle James will go to the line. Bearcats shooting 87% from the line as a team. And Jizzle James is definitely the guy you want at the free throw line.
Yeah, and the Cincinnati's in the double bonus the rest of the way through, so they'll have a lot more chances to score.
Jizzle James' first shot is up, and it is good. So the Bearcats have officially gotten to 70 points on offense. They have just exploded in the second half of play. Dylan Mitchell checks in for Tyler Betsy. Most likely defensive substitution there from Wes Miller's team. And now James will look to put in the second shot, and it is good. 15 for 17 on the day from the free throw line. It has been a very efficient day for the Bearcats. 11-point lead now. Reynolds thought about a three for a second. He'll drive in. Dede fell down, but he misses it anyway. Goes off Bandego's foot, and it'll stay with TCU with 1:16 to go. But at this point, you just want to hold on any way you can.
Yeah, TCU's just using too much time and not getting the best shots.
Reynolds has to throw it in, and he willed a punch underneath, and oh my goodness. He slams it home on top of Bandego. 10-point game now with 1:10. You wonder if TCU is going to foul here. I mean, you technically don't have to. With still a minute left and only 16 on the clock. And it looks like they're not going to. So the Bearcats are going to start dribbling it out. They're going to double team for the moment. 8 seconds on the clock now. James crossover. Puts it up. And he puts it in. And Jizzle James most likely will put the icing on the cake to a Cincinnati win after that jumper. 73-61.
Yeah, don't foul now at this point.
And now Thomas underneath goes up and lays it in. This time he'll put it in, and that will pretty much do it. Bearcats have stretched the lead up to 14 now, and it's looking like the Cincinnati Bearcats, after going on a 2-game losing streak on the road, are going to come back to Fifth Third Arena, and they're going to notch a win into the win column. Reynolds, top of the key, 18 seconds left. He'll puts it up and puts it in, and that most likely will do it. Jizzle James will dribble it out. Bearcats 75, TCU 63, and Cincinnati gets a must win and a big one here in the Queen City. They will get to 16-11 on the season. They get a much needed conference victory heading into a pretty tough stretch of games. They will play Baylor on the 25th, which will be a huge one for this team. A quad one win is on deck for the Bearcats. And you know, Justin, this team dominated the whole game, did not give up the lead once the whole time. And we talked about it in the pregame a lot. We needed the offense to do good. We needed the defense to step up. And we needed some other players to, you know, kind of fill some of those role player spots. But what player today were you most impressed with overall in their game?
I mean, I'm going to say Dylan Mitchell here. He had 12 points, 13 rebounds, and he really controlled the boards and the paint every time he was in. He was playing great defense as well. He was just the anchor for both sides of the ball for the Bearcats today, and I think the energy he brought out there was probably the biggest factor for the Bearcats win. So I'm going to go with Mitchell.
Yeah, overall, Bearcats, Dede Thomas with 13, Jizzle James with 18, Josh Reed with 13, Dylan Mitchell with 12, and Aziz Bandego with a quiet, really good game with 6 boards and 7 points. But for Jack Ritchie and Dusty Dietrich, thank you for joining us today on Bearcats. Cincinnati 75, TCU 63. The Bearcats will stay alive in their tourney hopes, and we will see you next week.